the starting dagger sucks. I know, right? I'm shocked too. I hope I didn't cause any heart attacks with this unforeseen plot twist. I mean, you can buy a better short blade already in the Sedanin general store, but its suckiness goes beyond just its poor stats. New players are not all people familiar with such mechanics. There are people who come from a different type of game, which is most games actually. Most games don't have a hit chance. Or just from Oblivion and Skyrim, where the problem is low damage, not being unable to hit. Both Oblivion's and Morrowind's combat sucks when you are at the wrong end of it. It's just that in Morrowind you are hitting the empty space between molecules, as one commenter put it. And in Oblivion you are hitting something with a wet noodle for 10 minutes until they die, out of embarrassment. To be frank, Oblivion's wet noodleness is probably easier to stomach for people because the wrong weapon is still doing something. And Oblivion starts you out without a class, and then suggests a class based on what you've used. Now, don't get me wrong, I vastly prefer Morrowind's tutorial. It's short, you can quickly set everything up, and you can get into the world probably in less than 5 minutes. But this is the point of view of an experienced player who already knows what the game is about. Because Morrowind with its starting dagger unknowingly communicates to the new player that that's a weapon you should start out with. But that's not really true for all classes, is it? If you choose a knight or some other class that doesn't have short blade skill, you really shouldn't be using it. So how would I fix this if I was the one deciding? Well, I wouldn't bother explaining too much about mechanics. People skip those explanations, and if you're too heavy-handed you'll just lose players. Not necessarily that they'll leave, but it's hard to pay attention to things if they are told in a certain way. For a start, I would remove the dagger from the table. Then, Celes Gravius in the next building would give you a weapon based on your highest weapon skill. Not necessarily the strongest type of weapon, just something that works. A mace for blunt, not a warhammer, a broadsword for long blade, not a claymore, etc. Something that can be improved upon even in Sedanin, but something that works for the class you've chosen. What the Imperial soldier would say is that Morrowind's roads are dangerous, and since you are expected to work for the Emperor, he is giving you a starting weapon. I have thought about a tutorial in an adjacent room where you are told to go destroy a dummy, and you'd be told to switch weapon if you miss too much, but honestly that wouldn't really fit Morrowind. And what I've learned with tutorial type videos is that the less information you give in those, the better. Forget about giving only the information viewers need. Give them even less than they need. Be like Dark Souls 1, not like a fanfiction writer. This works for real life too, by the way. If you're late to somewhere, you shouldn't over-explain. One-word explanations are good. Preferably, you should also make it sound like it was fate that made you late. It was unavoidable, and we're moving on. Well, don't actually say that, just make that sort of impression. If you explain all the factors that went into making you late, you will get accused of making excuses, so just tell them a bit less than what they need to know, and leave out any part where you are guilty of anything. Well, that's my method anyway, but then again I have been described as both ominously mysterious and as having a trustworthy face. I don't know how those two facts can exist at the same time, but admittedly those were two entirely different conversations with two entirely different people that don't even live in the same country. What I also wanted to address was fatigue, another horseman of the people complaining that Morrowind sucks on the forums apocalypse. What I would do there is wait for the player to empty or almost empty their fatigue bar. Then show them a very short message. Your character is now tired, so you will be less effective in combat. Or something like that. I was reflexively going to add, make sure to restore your fatigue before engaging in combat, but that wouldn't really be in the spirit of giving people less information than they need, now would it? Just show this message to the player once. Or maybe a second time, but no more than that. You don't want to be like the Fable Grandmaster after all. If you enjoyed this, you might enjoy this other video as well. Please watch it. Thanks for watching.